the forms of torture in more detail and also describe some of the effects to my health I have experienced. The nature of the torture I have been experiencing has been highly sexual in nature and highly perverted, involving many combinations of sensory and motor manipulation of my mind and body and of the people around me. This includes many different types of zaps to varying degrees to the genitals, butt, anus, and the entire pelvic area. This also includes many kinds of movements, such as the rocking, swaying, jolting, vibrating, and shaking of my entire body or various body parts, specifically in a sexual way. The severe vibration is a highly noxious stimuli and is very intolerable. They sometimes do pulses or throbbing sensations on the genitals too, etc. There are also body movements such as rocking my pelvic area back and forth, repeated rubbing sensations, the sensation of something going up my crotch and in and out, etc. They also often force vaginal discharges and zap my genitals at the same time. These sexual assaults are present throughout the day, every day, and anytime I am awakened at night, every night. They range from mild to extreme, but usually involve daily and nightly continuous assaults for the past 3 years now. When severe, the zaps to the genitals feel as though someone is electrocuting my genitals repeatedly. I also often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes. It also includes videos of violence and grotesque figures, and sometimes numbers and other symbols used to threaten torture. This forces me to open my eyes, even when I'm so sleep deprived. I experience frequent, severe forced movements of my eyeballs side to side, up and down, and bulging in and out. The forced eyeball movements are very often extreme, and I experience it often for many hours at a time, particularly through the night, nearly every night. This is often combined with other forms of torture. They also inflict forced biting, where they make me bite my hands and arms forcefully, leaving severe bite marks and bruises. I sometimes have to sleep with 2 pairs of gloves on my hands to help prevent the severe, painful bite marks and bruising. They are horribly violent, and they often threaten more extreme forms of violence. One of the things that the V2K repeats often is, "We only get worse." They also often zap my genitals very forcefully while at the same time forcing repeated strong, painful muscle contractions all over my body that are very exhausting, so that it feels as though I ran a marathon through the night instead of sleeping. This is one of the reasons why I have not been able to exercise since this level of torture started in August of 2015, when I was previously very physically active and fit. The chronic severe sleep deprivation plus so much torture day and night has completely exhausted me and debilitated my muscles. I have seen significant muscle weakness and flaccidity since 2015. Additionally, I experience frequent planted dreams and dream manipulation. They have also done planted dreams and absolute nightmares of my family members suffering. Throughout the past 3 years, I have experienced episodes of varying degrees of nausea and dizzy spells. They also have many, many ways to make the suffocation worse, as if that were possible. When it is cold outside, they often suffocate me severely while putting sharp pain in my lungs as I try to gasp in for cold air. They also often put mucus in my throat to make it more difficult to breathe when they do the severe suffocation. They also sometimes stuff my nose up while suffocating me, and many other ways. They also use the suffocation and the burping to threaten more severe sexual assaults. The burping is often very severe, and I have many hours of video recording showing this unusual form of repeated and often severe torture. This is not something someone does naturally physiologically, and there is no medical condition that would cause this level of severe repeated burping for hours at a time, nearly every day like this, as well as the sexual assaults that make it difficult to walk at times. For the past 3 years, it has been all about survival. literally just trying to keep myself alive to get me to the day when I can be free from this torture. Every day has been a miracle of survival. I also experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my closed eyes. Specific foods or things like flowers, etc. Feces, urine, and also they often do the smell of sex. They have also manipulated my computer and other electronics in various ways so that I know they are able to manipulate anything I sneeze excessively to threaten more sexual assaults. I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic. And they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions and had been making incredible progress on all of her therapy goals. This was used to threaten extreme torture on me, making me scream and cry, etc. They would make the kids act out the kinds of torture that would later be done on me. For example, they would also sometimes make her bite her hand, threatening to make me bite my hands, as they often do. One day, she had a large, severe bite mark on her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, "Ow," and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture. One day, I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "Ow." I observed this
Grateful to be before you today due to Amy Anderson's due diligence and to everyone else involved. I thank you, council members, for giving us targeted individuals a chance to speak and to be heard. And I pray that these atrocities will soon be brought to an end.
Torture, and it is enslavement. And any one of these people can tell you the same thing. We have suffered desperately, and I'm sorry if I'm emotional, but I'm very tired. But if you won't save us, save yourselves, because I promise you, this will come back to every one of you. Every one of us in this country are going to be tapped into these computer systems, and you are going to see what this feels like. Do something now while you still can. Thank you.
For next, I ask a question. Could you be more specific in terms of how you feel that you've been injustice?
You mean as far as the Justice Department failing me?
Well, in terms of your being a victim.
You mean what I'm feeling?
Yeah, explain a little bit to me how
Sure.
you perceive yourself as being.
I have actual photographs of burns on my body. When I went to my doctor, the response was, "How do I know you didn't do that to yourself? How do you even address that?" I've passed 2 psychological evaluations, not 1, but 2. The one physician said, "You're mentally sound as a bell." He said, "I don't have any idea what's going on with you." When I go to sleep, when I go to try to sleep, I feel like I'm being lit up like a Christmas tree. I feel every cell in my body just bouncing out of my body. I can't even describe it. I get electric shock of my rectum. I get electric shock up my nose. I've woken up with burns on the end of my tongue. I've had burns on the palms of both of my hands. I vibrate. I vibrate. I can barely hold a piece of paper without quivering. Does that answer your question?
I'm trying to find what's the source of the...
The source are these exotic weapons. They talk about, in 2977, they talk about the space weapons, space-based weapons. Basically, in that document, it talks about exotic weapons. That's what we're talking about. And the fact of the matter is, they did complete that global surveillance network. My cousin worked for the Defense Department. She worked on the global mapping of that system. And when I told her what I was going through, all she could say was, "You're on your own." Well, I've figured that out. I figured that out. If you would please, I urge you to pass this. I realize you can't enforce it, but if you would pass it, it might give other communities the courage to do the same thing and show our Defense Department we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women.
Girls. And don't forget, he did that while he was assistant DA. The assistant DA. Up there singing.
So he said, first of all, just don't be be transparent when you talk. You know, and I know you don't want to make them uncomfortable, because it is, I didn't want to make you uncomfortable, Mackenzie, because one thing I don't want to do is make you think that I'm trying to use that as a card and the
Right.
race. And he said, just talk to them, make them aware of that, and just don't try to sugarcoat it, and just so So, I was on the call with a bunch of people. Matter of fact, it's funny. I was on the call with somebody, and accidentally the microphone got and turned off. I don't know if I accidentally clicked on it or somehow it was clicked other ways. I don't know. But I was listening to testimonies of like women that have been tortured, and I'm okay with that because I truly am okay with them listening to what they're part of. They want to escape into a reality, which I'm not going to allow them to do this. They keep telling me how I'm going to get my penis cut off and my testicle cut, like all these things they do to compensate for the fact that they're in a program that is doing horrible things to children, right? And doing horrible things to women. Now I know who put me in this program, and that's what you heard me talking to my manager at the time. This is why they can speak about this pedophile that was picking up kids and try to make me subscribe to it. They were bringing up the things they manipulated me. There was like this dope break sister thing. They did this whole thing where they stimulate me. And then there was like a figure. It was they come up with their own little things and manipulation and use that as ways to find out to find out to make me accept these things, which is manipulated. They obviously stimulate me toward all kind of kids, from the babies to the older kids. So to be honest, that's not the worst thing they've done to me. If you see in one of my videos about that, you can see the baby next to her, and you see how they stimulate me toward them versus the older kids. And they do the nurse campaign, which I hope that this microphone has captured that, because they want you to subscribe to this. They want you to be like, oh no, this is happening to you naturally. But when it comes to taking pictures, they don't like. So things they do to people is happening to organically. These people have sold their soul to pedophiles. They do horrible things to even children, and they use people like that, which of course included in the video, to be involved in this. Right. So you see this kind of this person. I think he looks like a kid to me. I don't know if he's actually a kid, but he looks like a kid. So this kid is already involved in a program that is doing horrible things to women and children, and he's already compromised at his age. And who knows what's going to happen to him? But I guarantee you, it's going to come back to him. And it's unfortunate because these parents should be responsible for for that. But these people are trying their best to make you subscribe to it. But they send this child like people that could never make me subscribe to anything. That's why I'm glad when they show their face, because it's like, look at these people. You think these people can ever make you subscribe to these things? I was on the call with a bunch of women who, quote unquote, are very respectable. They're professionals, and they're trying to delude themselves that this is a group of like feminist women that protect women. It's like, that's why I have these testimonials of Mariana talk about what they do to the genitals, to the children, the way they torment her in sexual ways, in other ways, and they use these childlike individuals like that to be involved in this. At least these people are cowards beyond nth degrees. They are trash, and they're already trashing these kids already. Because now, what's going to happen to this person's future? Of course, it's going to come back to this. To this now is a trash. So, to all my target individuals, these people are going to try to make you accept these nasty things. For me, they stimulate me toward children of all ages, and they want me to subscribe to this because they have this childlike individuals making noise campaign. That's why I captured this purpose. I was like, okay, now if something like that happens, I'm gonna make sure that I take videos of that. And they tell me I'm gonna be framed and all that. I was like, listen, can you even say the name of this assistant DA? Why? It's because you know who put me in this program. Your job is to do these nasty things to people. I'm thankful that, unlike this child, I never was put in this program to do these things that this person is doing. Now, this is sad because there's older people around refusing to be seen, but wanting to sound more mysticful. These people are even more cowards than these people. So, to all my target individual, do not subscribe to them. These people have tortured children. I was on the call with this guy. He's one of the top director. And he really wants to delude himself like a young child. It's like, yeah, the young child that Mariana saw being tortured, the young child that Catherine Nestor have and been tortured by these people, like this trash, this child like trash, been torturing. This is not a program where these people are organizing themselves. This is a program that experiment on human being, and they use all kind of people to implement these experimentations. These people are not here to protect their children. Does this person look like he protects anything? No. His job is to agitate people. That's his assignment. He's supposed to make you subscribe to these manipulations. That's his assignment. He's supposed to make you subscribe to this. And he's watching me die, but look at how he's living. How long does he have to live? Who knows? But this is what he's doing. Now, that's why I'm so thankful that I didn't have to live my life like that. That's why I'm so thankful. And I know these people see that and want to compensate for that. Because they look at this exactly the way you should look at it. It's humiliating to try to make this person subscribe to this thing using this childlike individual who don't even know who he is, but somehow he's supposed to tell me who I am. And I'm supposed to believe that, oh no, this guy is an investigator too. He's a different FBI agent. It's embarrassing. And they tell me how they're going to frame me by having this 13-year-old say something about me doing something to it. It's like, and you hear my coworkers talk about, she's only 13 years old. So it's like, whatever, go compromise this child. What do you expect this child growing up to be? What is that person going to be?